As you mentioned, Giannis hasn't quite been in MVP form. I don't think he'll win another MVP this year, or probably not for a little while. I think there's a bit of voting fatigue with him, and also the hangover of how he played in the playoffs.
I also think a big contract extension tends to take the shine off it as well.
It does. On to the teams. Who do we have for honorable mention?
Our honorable mention is a two-headed monster.
Okay.
I would say Brooklyn Nets, who are now a three-headed monster in themselves. The Harden trade bumps them up.
Yeah.
But we did discuss the potential of them
Bombing.
Not performing very well once they have all three on the court. They played really well today by the looks of it. I'll probably watch a little bit of that game once we leave here. But the Harden trade bumps them up on that list. Mm-hmm. And the Portland Trail Blazers deserve a mention for their winning streak. But the tough loss of Yusuf Nurkic, that's a hard one to take.
Yeah.
They don't really have a backup center there, so I'm not sure what they do.
Well, not of his caliber, unfortunately. Like Enes Kanter can fill in, of course.
But
he should be playing.
Defend.
No, he should be playing 15 to 20 minutes at the most.
Yep.
Although this could be Harry Giles' opportunity.
Could be. It could be.
We talked a lot about him in the preseason.
He needs to come a long way in his performance to warrant that starting spot. So, look, they definitely deserve a mention. They've been pretty good. So, Who have we got at number 5, Macca?
All right. Number 5, we've got the Boston Celtics. They have been one of the best teams in the East, and we have to give them some credit. Despite some of the injuries and the isolation protocols of the NBA, they have remained relevant. Brad Stevens is really doing an amazing job, as are the players as well. We shouted out Peyton Pritchard, obviously, in our rookie rankings. But the Celtics just keep chugging along. They keep putting out good numbers, keep putting out good performances, and they're a tough team to beat on a nightly basis.
I don't have anything to add. They've been
That's
good.
it.
They deserve to be top 5.
Yeah.
That's where they are.
Yep.
Look, I'm looking at the list. I'm actually a little bit upset now that I'm, really paying attention to it.
Uh-oh.
We're missing one of my favorite East teams right now.
Oh, is it Indiana?
No. 76ers.
Oh.
There's no 76ers on this list, Macca.
Oh, man.
I would have,
The disrespect.
I'd probably have the 76ers at 5. Let's just agree to disagree there. Boston deserve to be top 5, but I think the 76ers do too. So they're a special mention now.
I think where I went with this list and how I would knock them off is because they had those they had a massive amount of players out, and it kind of just impacts
agree with that,
them on being on the list. But
I don't have a huge problem with them missing off the list. I'd just say that, I would have them at 5 probably, if anywhere.
All right. I mean, it's a bit of a mix there. Anything past 4. I think the top 4 are a little bit undisputed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So number 4, who have we got?
Number 4, we have the Milwaukee Bucks.
Whoa. That was a good accent.
Milwaukee Bucks. They're winning by a lot. They are winning by a lot.
Trust me, you're not wrong.
They are wiping the floor with teams. It's really hard to gauge how good they are with all this protocol going on, though.
It's regular season versus playoffs, but right now we're just judging the regular season.
Based off what they've done to this point, they have changed our list dramatically, considering who we had at 5 and 4. We had the Nets and Lakers, and Bucks weren't even on the list. So they've now jumped into number 4 and knocked out Brooklyn from the list to an honorable mention. So, look, Giannis hasn't even been at his best yet. He's still been, hot and cold. He has games where you don't even notice him on the court, and that's pretty hard for a guy that's almost 7 foot tall and has the athletic ability of Giannis. They've been carried a lot by Drew Holiday, who's been absolutely brilliant.
Middleton's been playing well as well,
Middleton's
but Holiday
been really good. You're right.
has certainly stood out, Yeah,
but Holiday is one of those players that, he can play a full game and be a defensive pest and then you catch him on the offensive end where he's happy to play off ball or primary ball
Creating.
handler. And that's something they didn't really have in Bledsoe. So as far as the numbers go, their numbers are still almost identical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been really happy with how Drew Holiday's been playing.
Yeah. I do remember, I'm not calling you out, but I remember you were a bit skeptical that he was an improvement on Bledsoe. But I'm happy to hear you've come around.
I have come around.
That's
now that
what
I've
happens.
Look, it's really hard to see players switch and look at them on their new teams. You know what I mean?
If they haven't played.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
To make an assessment based on someone from when you've seen them play with a franchise for so long and you're like, well, that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to a new franchise and they change a couple of things.
That's right.
And then they're a different player.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do take back the fact that Eric Bledsoe was not an upgrade. Drew Holiday was not an upgrade on Eric Bledsoe.
All right, accepted.
I also don't agree that they should have traded 3 first-round picks.
Oh, yeah.
That
they
was
gave
too
up a
much.
fair amount.
That was too much. Anyway,
that's
continue.
all good. Just wanted to lastly point out the Bucks, prior to us actually getting into this podcast, they were leading the league in point differential. The Lakers have taken that over, but the Bucks are winning by an average of 10, almost 11 points per game, which is nuts. So the Bucks have just been powering through the regular season as they usually do. It's still early. As you mentioned, Giannis hasn't quite been in MVP form. I don't think he'll win another MVP this year, or probably not for a little while. I think there's a bit of voting fatigue with him, and also the hangover of how he played in the playoffs.
I also think a big contract extension tends to take the shine off it as well.
It does.
It's interesting, though, because when you pay a player that much, they tend to fall back in all of their player rankings because they're like, oh, they're being paid a lot, so that's what we expect. Whereas
at the very least, yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at Giannis and you're like, oh, he was being paid 14 mil last year, he was an MVP player because of his value to his team, and then his value on the court was completely different. So
he needs to.
It's an interesting dynamic when you look at it like that.
It is actually, yeah. It's a good point. If he's going to win another MVP, he'd probably have to average like 40 and 20. Or some crazy stats.
You're probably right. Honestly, it's
because he needs to impress people.
Yeah,
he was already one of the very few players to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the Bucks. Number 4. Number 3 is the Los Angeles Clippers. They've been playing really well. As we mentioned the last time, I think a lot of people were skeptical that it was for real. But they have continued to play strong basketball.
Yep.
I honestly think PG, Kawhi, and Ibaka is a really good top 3.
I like it too.
And their bench has been pretty solid. I've been impressed by Luke Kennard in particular. I didn't think he deserved that money, the contract he got, which was 4 years, $64 million.
He's got to come on a fair way. Like, there's still a lot of learning to do on this franchise.
Getting acclimated with your teammates.
Exactly.
Yeah. But they've played well, and even Nick Batum has contributed.
Super impressed.
Far more than I expected.
Super impressed.
I thought he was just the guy they brought in to be like a veteran, almost like maybe similar to a Jared Dudley. But yeah, he's actually been playing and starting for them and finishing some games as well. So
his defense has been really good. Like one-on-one, he doesn't get caught out much.
He's versatile.
Yeah.
And he's good out there.
He's got a couple of games with multiple steals.
High basketball IQ guy.
Very high basketball IQ. His turnovers are way down. Personal fouls probably need some work. He's averaging a couple of them, but I think that comes with the territory of playing physical defense. His efficiency numbers are up across the board, up almost 12%.
That's good.
His efficiency.
That'll do.
His free throw numbers are up to 85%, which is just slightly above his career average. His field goal 3-point percentage is at 42%, and his field goal percentage in general is at 50%, which is, really, really solid for a player coming off the bench. So he's done his job, and he was brought in to do a job, and, he's probably performed better than what almost everyone expected.
At least myself, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, from him going from a walking corpse in Charlotte to what he is now is impressive in itself.
Yeah.
And even if he was moderately decent, he's been above that. And that's why it's so impressive to watch. So good for Nick. Clippers number 3. Their bench has also been solid, like we mentioned. But they just look like one of those teams. We had them at number 4, I think, and basically the third threat to the Lakers in the West. They could rise above that. And last power rankings, they were our number 1. But they have fallen behind the last week's number 2, actually, still, Phoenix Suns.
They hold the spot.
They hold the spot, exactly.
Yeah, which we didn't expect. Even when we did we read into the podcast,
right.
We were leading into it last week, and we both looked at this and went, should they be number 2?
Yeah, I mean, it was still early. A lot of stuff they were doing it didn't necessarily seem sustainable.
Yeah.
But they have definitely kept it up. Not too long ago, they had the best defensive rating in the league.
Yeah.
That's dropped off a little bit. I think they're still in the top 10.
Yeah, look,
top 5.
They've got really good defenders across the board. Chris Paul's still one of the best plus defenders at the point guard position that the NBA has ever had.
They're taking it very seriously.
Yeah.
And they've game planned properly this year to have everybody on the same page.
Huge testament to the coach. Huge.
Yeah.
What is it, Nate Bjorken?
No, that's the Pacers coach.
Oh, dude.
Their head coach, the Phoenix Suns head coach, is actually Eric Spoelstra.
Yep. Good, very good. It's Monty Williams.
Yeah.
So, huge testament to Monty Williams. Please cut out me saying Nate Bjorken.
Nope.
Huge testament to Monty Williams for the job that he's done this season with the Phoenix. He was with them last year, but I think, it was more so a player fit last year than it was, the structures that he was putting out.
Yeah.
They didn't have a point guard, which has always been a problem with Phoenix. But now he has someone that can run the offense, slow it down when they need to.
That's right.
I think they're running the slowest offense in the league.
They probably still have the slowest pace.
Yep.
By design. I think they're wanting to be prepared for the playoffs.
Yep.
So it's good to see that. Let me just pull that up. You can chit-chat away.
Yeah, so Chris Paul has allowed them to slow it down 100%. He's been fantastic at, really bringing other players into it that possibly didn't see as much ball last year. I'm looking at Mikal Bridges. The Bridgeses are the most difficult. The most difficult players in the NBA to remember who's who. But yeah, look, Chris Paul's been the answer for Phoenix, and they've been praying for a point guard and praying for a backcourt partner for Devin Booker for so long, and now they have it. And
absolutely.
He has turned that franchise into a real contender. They really could be a knife in the side for the Lakers. The Lakers probably will struggle playing against the Suns.
Yeah, that might be the best backcourt in the league, aside from Lillard-McCollum, who I cannot not mention because they're so good. But just to double check that stat from
and
before,
Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, no. The pace question, they're in the bottom 4.
Yeah.
Slowest pace in the league. They've all you're competing with the Knicks, Cavs, and Clippers, but Phoenix plays at that pace, I believe, because they want to be ready for the playoffs when the pace is similar or slower.
Yep.
And you need to have a good, solid half-court offense.
Yep.
You're still going to want to get out on the break and get fast break buckets, but Phoenix has done really well so far. Not so shockingly, who's number 1, Josh?
Number 1 is, again, no. Number 1 this week is the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes.
They're almost unbeatable. What are you supposed to do? How do you stop them?
I think about it all the time. I lose sleep about it. The Lakers just have so much talent. They have so much LeBron. They have so much Anthony Davis.
Montrezl Harrell, who's also been
he's just dunking on
unstoppable.
You. Marc Gasol has been impressive.
I don't. How do you stop it? You can't.
Dennis Schroeder.
What are you supposed to do?
I don't know. Just give up. Just move on and hope you can get some injuries in there for them.
We're literally just waiting for the Lakers to play someone in the finals.
Well, I'm waiting for the conference finals at least, where we should see somebody impressive. I don't expect the Lakers to have any trouble in the first or second round.
Nuggets, if the Nuggets can get there, they're going to be a hard out for the Lakers. With Jokic playing at the level he is, I don't think even Davis could slow him down at the level he's playing at.
The only way I can see the Lakers truly having trouble is since now Nurkic has injured his wrist, if they fall into a lower seed, and maybe, again, like last year, but this time they come in
with Nurkic
properly healthy, and they have a better roster than they did in the last playoffs. they could be a formidable problem for the Lakers.
Yeah, they're
Although
better defensively with Derek Jones Jr., who has guarded LeBron before and done a really good job.
Yeah.
And Robert Covington, who's really good at switching on the perimeter. So
how's that combo on defense?
That's probably the best two. Oh, no, I can't really say that with Kawhi and Paul George. So, but they're up there. They're up there.
Top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they deserve to be number one.
Hands down.
Probably haven't even seen the best of the Lakers yet, so that's scary. And they have to be favorites to take it all this year.
Yeah, and the thing is, having LeBron is like the ultimate confidence booster. So that team, and I wanted to say, LeBron has been playing with a level of confidence and assuredness in his own game, similar to when he won, or the year after he won his first ring in 2013.
Yeah.
Every game was like a performance where you just were watching him in complete awe. And he had that shot where he took the 3 and then turned around to the bench right away.
Yeah.
Like he's not fazed by anything anymore. He's achieved close to what I like to call basketball zen.
Yeah.
Where he's just in the zone all the time, knows what to do, what play to make. He's never worried about anything. The last thing I wanted to say about the Lakers is this team is still simmering. If I was going to use a cooking analogy, they're not ready to serve yet, but come playoff time, they should be unbelievable. So keep an eye out for that. Lakers, number 1.
I also think that LeBron's also now confident in his shot, which
jump shot.
It's been a couple of years, maturing that jump shot and getting to this point. He's probably been shooting like this since the Cavaliers, the last season with the Cavs, when he really took on that long distance 3 kind of thing and tried to emulate Steph Curry and the Warriors offense.
Yeah.
But it wasn't quite there. But at this level now, he's willing to take a jump shot if the defender's playing off him.
Yeah.
Whereas he'd look to drive or try and get a better matchup on defense if a player was playing off him. Now he's just like, oh, you want to stand there? Cool. Jump shot.
Yeah.
3 in
he's
the
ready.
face. Lakers are the best team in basketball. They
hands down
probably will be for the majority of the season, if not the rest of the season. So this will almost be a top 4 and the Lakers list for the rest of the year.
Do you think the Lakers can crack 60 wins?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's only 62 games this year.
There's 72.
You're right.
And
Sorry,
lost,
my bad.
That's all right. They've won 11. They've lost 3. So 60 games is not out of the realm of possibility, but they've been dominating. So.
You're right. So it's either gonna be 60 or mid 50s.
Yeah.
That's their range, and I think it could even end up being on the higher end of that. They could end up with like a 90% win rate, which is insane. Anyway, that's enough about the Lakers because we'll be talking about them all year.
Yeah.